Welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh, for this Nintendo News Minute for May 2nd, 2023. Well, let's jump right into this thing, shall we? Marvel's Midnight Suns on Switch, no longer planned. What is going on with the Switch? And not only are we seeing games now getting canceled, we've seen a handful of games that have been shut down. So let's take a look at the article here from Nintendo Life. It says Firaxis Games and 2K have announced that Marvel's Midnight Suns, last year's critically acclaimed comic book card-based tactics game, is no longer coming to Switch. Announcing the news alongside the final DLC chapter for the game, publisher 2K confirmed on its official website via Twitter that while the game would be coming digitally to PS4 and Xbox One on the 11th of May, that all 4 DLCs will be available day one. A Nintendo Switch version of Marvel's Midnight Sun is no longer planned. No reason has been given for the Switch port's cancellation. Continuing on in the article here, says this is no doubt a sting for Marvel fans who have been waiting to play the strategy game from the team behind the XCOM and Civilization series. The game reviewed extremely well across the board, praising the gameplay and genre pivot for a superhero game. However, our sister site, Nintendo Life's sister site, Push Square, reported that the game was apparently a commercial flop. How do you guys feel? Let me know in the comments how you feel about this one. This one, for me, honestly, not really on my radar. When I see the words card-based tactic, I kind of check out. For me, it's not something that I really enjoy, that I'm probably not going to spend any time with. So this isn't a big loss for me, because it wasn't something I was going to probably even download. Maybe to talk about it on here, but other than that, I didn't really see myself spending much time with it. That being said, some of the guys over on the Xbox Factor podcast, like Pong Soul, he loves this game. Anytime there's an update, I'm seeing him post the tweets in our group chat talking about what's next for this game, and it's a game that he has really enjoyed. It is a bummer to see that it is apparently a commercial flop. You don't want to see that ever. But I don't know about you guys. To me, it kind of seems like if this is the final DLC trailer for the game, is it kind of just slowly coming to an end because of it being a flop? And does it have anything to do with the Switch, or the fact that the game is not doing as well as they had hoped, and therefore they're just going to get it out on the PS4 and Xbox One, milk the little bit of life they can out of it on those two systems, and then just walk away from this thing, maybe shut it down? That's kind of what I'm thinking will happen. And who knows, they might have some kind of data from even from Nintendo, I don't know, that's like taking a look at a bunch of the different live service games on there, and other than, let's say, maybe Fortnite or Rocket League, are these other games really thriving? Paladins being shut down, Rogue, what was it called, Rogue Company, I believe, also being shut down. And I don't know that the games are really thriving on there. It wouldn't surprise me to see Apex get pulled from the Switch. As long as we waited for that and it finally showed up, it was relatively disappointing on the Switch because of the graphical capabilities of the system. I often thought that Apex Mobile would have been a better fit for the Switch, and then that game did not survive either. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, there is a spot in the podcast player as well that you can leave your comments. Moving on, Square Enix says Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster has now shipped over 2 million units. This is from mynintendonews.com. And it looks like according to their Twitter, they say, we're delighted to announce that we've shipped and digitally sold over 2 million copies of the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster series across Steam, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and mobile. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't, then now is the perfect time. This is something I think I'm planning on picking up. You guys notice what's missing from this list? Steam, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch and mobile. No Xbox. And what is up with Square and Xbox? Why do we see so few games make their way over to Xbox from Square? It's interesting. And I see a lot of conversations about it on Twitter. And I wonder why that is the case. And this seems like a game that wouldn't have been too, I would assume, not too difficult to make sure gets on the Xbox. But it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if Sony has some kind of Final Fantasy deal that doesn't allow it to be sold on Xbox. I don't know for sure. It's just an assumption. But think about the Final Fantasy VII remake that was supposed to be getting supposed to come in Xbox. It still has yet to be released there. So I don't know what's up with that. That being said, the little bit that I've seen of this game, the fact that I love that it's the Pixel Remaster series. I think it's time for me to possibly dive in. I have 7 on my Switch already. This would, of course, give me the first 6 games. I remember playing Final Fantasy on the NES, and those of you that know me very well, you know I probably did not last very long. I was just like, yo, what is this? I just want to fight these things. I don't want to take turns attacking. This is not how warriors fight in dungeons. They just go to town. And well, we know that's not how these games are played. But to have this on the Switch on the go, I'm kind of here for it. So I think it will be one that I do end up picking up. And if you picked it up, let me know in the comments what you thought of this one. Now, the rumor mill. You guys ready for the rumor mill? And I get this question. I even had my daughter ask me today. When is Super Mario Brothers movie releasing on digital? I believe we talked about it yesterday. And I told you I was looking it up, and the details I was finding were say it was indefinitely delayed. It was delayed until July. But according to the Twitter account at When to Stream, and we of course are looking at a My Nintendo News article, it says Super Mario Brothers movie 2023 streaming May 9th. PVOD, Apple, Amazon, Google, etc. Which that means it's going to be, it's not going to just any streaming service. This is the paid video on demand, I'm assuming, is what the PVOD stands for. And they have a little asterisk that says, we've been getting questions on whether this date is still correct, and we're happy to report it's 100% confirmed. Now, this game just released in Japan on Friday, and we're potentially 1 week away from the release of the Super Mario Brothers movie digitally. I don't know what this means about the physical releases, and maybe those have got pushed. And if you are interested in getting steelbooks for the Super Mario Brothers movie, both Walmart and Best Buy have, I believe, each have their own exclusive steelbook for the movie. Walmart's is shaped like a superstar, and it's kind of it's one to put on a shelf. Okay, that much I'll say. The Best Buy one is one that you could put within your, with your Blu-ray collection or whatever. But if you have drawers like I do for most of my Blu-rays, I don't think the one from Walmart is going to be fitting in those drawers. That being said, fingers crossed that we'll be able to purchase this movie in 1 week. And then I'll just have it on all the time. I'll go to record podcasts. You guys are going to hear the Mario Brothers movie in the background. It'll just be always playing all the time. I want to see every Easter egg. I want to go through that thing frame by frame. I want to zoom in. I want to know everything there is to know about the Super Mario Brothers movie. Again, fingers crossed that we're going to see it on May 9th. Really, really hoping. Again, from My Nintendo News, it says Nintendo changes file size listing for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom to 16 gigs. And it says Nintendo has changed the file size of the forthcoming Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. The original size was listed at 18.2 gigabytes, and the new file size is 16 gigs. While it is not a definite guarantee that the final file size will be due to the day one updates, etc., It is somewhere around that amount. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom will be out Friday, May 12th. So excited. So excited for this game. Cannot wait to jump into Tears of the Kingdom. What does this mean for the, with the file size changing, compression going on, what's going on there? And from my understanding, a lot of these things have shipped, so it's strange that like it's just now being updated. This could be I'm assuming that size is going to be somewhat irrelevant, like it says in the article here, to what's on the actual cart because of the day one update that we know is inevitably coming. Now, just speaking of the Legend of Zelda, the leaks are everywhere, you guys. So many people, the internet was on fire downloading this game yesterday, playing it on modded switches and emulators. So be careful if you are waiting for your copy to show up. Be careful out there. It was streamed on Twitch for a half an hour before it was finally pulled down. And I know that there's lots of spoilers going out in different Discords, some going out on Twitter. So just make sure, have those words muted. Be careful where you're looking. They can get posted on YouTube, in the comments. This is going to be a tough one for those of us that are in the thick of the gaming community online to avoid these spoilers. But again, fingers crossed we'll be able to do just that. So stay safe out there. Splatoon 3 updated to version 3.1.1. This is from My Nintendo News. It says Splatoon 3 continues to get a lot of support from Nintendo, and it shows no sign of slowing down anytime soon. There is going to be more DLC coming soon that is part of the expansion pass, and the game is getting updated very regularly with new updates that add more things, rebalances the game, and fixes bugs. The latest update, which puts the game at version 3.1.1, is a small one. The focus on this update is just to fix some bugs. However, Nintendo does mention in the patch notes that the next significant update will be releasing next month in June. The patch notes can be seen below. Changes to Splatfest. Data relating to future Splatfest has been added. Adjusted things like screen brightness and ink coloring on stages during Splatfest. In addition to adding data relating to future Splatfest, we released this update to adjust how stages look during Splatfest. Please note that we plan on making further changes to ink coloring when using color lock in the next update. The next update is scheduled to be released at the end of the current season, and it will focus primarily on balance adjustments and adding features for the new season starting in June. Fixes to multiplayer. Fixed an issue where players who super jumped to a player who was using the Zipcaster would sometimes land in an unintended location. Fixes to Salmon Run. Fixed an issue that sometimes caused the game to crash and start a special wave in rare cases. Fixes to Splatfest. Fixed an issue where the music and performance in Splatsville and Inkopolis during a Splatfest would become out of sync if the main menu was open for a long time. Other fixes fixed an issue where edits to player's locker would be canceled if the player was editing during a scheduled transition. Note, compatible with version 3.1.0. Battle replays no longer compatible with 3.01 or earlier battle replays. So make sure if you're going to use those things for any kind of content, get them off of your device, get them recorded with your capture card, or share them out to Twitter, whatever the case may be, so that you don't lose those replays. I'm also assuming it works similar to Smash, because I haven't spent much time with the replays in Splatoon 3. Lastly, which I think this one is really cool. I think this is pretty rad. And when I first played Jedi Survivor, all I could think about was, wow, there is so many nods to Metroid. It is very much a 3D Metroidvania, in my opinion. The way you earn power-ups and the way, like right off the bat, if you played the first game of, the Fallen Order, you play the first game, right off the bat, you'll notice that there's areas you can see that you cannot get to. And I was like, wow, that's such a nod to Metroid, right? Well, that nod continues in a Jedi Survivor. Okay, so this is from Nintendo Life. It says words like lightsabers, Sith Lords, and droids might not immediately bring the games of Nintendo to mind, but in Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the latest big budget game set in a galaxy far, far away, one of the big ends most iconic sequences gets a nice little nod. Okay. As a let's see, as shared on Twitter by Giant Bomb journalist Jeff Grubb, one early section of the game sees you learning how to wall jump in a very similar way to how you do in the 1994 SNES classic Super Metroid. Of course, we're not referring to the actual act of wall jumping. Heck, most players would be could be said it could be said to contain references in that case. Most platformers, I'm sorry, not players. Most platformers could be said to contain references in that case, but instead, how the game teaches you to use the ability. Instead of just a double tap A command appearing on the screen, Jedi Survivor sees Cal Kestis learning the ropes from a trio of fluffy friends. And Jeff Grubb has a video of him pulling it off. And as alluded by Grubb, the sequence was very closely mirrors the wall jump tutorial from Super Metroid, in which Samus is shown, not told, by the Ectokun. I'm not sure if I said that correctly. The three monkey-like creatures that leap up the walls and encourage the protagonist to do the same. And as soon as I saw this sequence, if you guys are just listening, you obviously can't see the video, and I'm not going to play it right now. But basically, these furry creatures show Cal exactly what he needs to do in order to do the wall jump and make his way up the shaft. And it is so similar to Metroid, where there were multiple times in that game where it wasn't there wasn't like the tutorial was creatures on the screen showing you how to do the moves you just learned, or maybe that had just unlocked. And so it's pretty cool to see this nod in a game that definitely takes inspiration from the Super Metroid series. So that is your Nintendo News Minute for May 2nd, 2023. Remember, if you guys got any kind of news you'd like me to cover, my DMs are open on Twitter. You can give me a follow at N64Josh. And remember, we are doing the Retro Reconnect, and I am going Retro Connect. And the first game is Super Mario Brothers. I'm going to be recording that episode today. We're also going to be doing a Legend of Zelda countdown. That'll be separate episodes. And the first episode is going to be all about Wind Waker. We're following along with some other people in the gaming community on Twitter that are doing this countdown, and I wanted to be included. And you can be included too by using the hashtag TOTK countdown and seeing everybody's different responses and replies. It's pretty cool thing. That's, I don't know, just seeing a lot of people come together for the Legend of Zelda is really quite awesome. So I wanted to jump in by giving some history of Wind Waker, giving my history with Wind Waker, and then we'll see which game is out tomorrow as well. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you in the next one. Bye now.